done me to evils, and my people have done me so wrong. They've forsaken me the fount of living water, heal our systems that won't last long. My people have done me to evils, and my people have done me so wrong. They've forsaken me the fount of living water, heal our systems that won't last long. Oh, Jerusalem, oh, Jerusalem, I would gather you like a extended by my hand. Yet you stoned all the prophets I sent you. They were good, worthy, mortal men. My love for you unto you is without measure. 'Tis a love without beginning or end. I would have given you your transgressions, cast in a sea of forgetfulness your sin. My people have done me to evils, and my people have done me so wrong. They've forsaken me the fount of living water, healed our systems that won't last long. My people have done me to evils, and my people have done me so wrong. They've forsaken me the fount of living water, our systems that won't last long. 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 You don't know when the sun shall get shut.
In 2016, it was noisy. People had all kinds of Bluetooths on. They were talking into telephones. They had videos on. They were watching movies. The whole world had changed. The way people dressed changed. People was talking, and it was strange. Now, I added 3 eggs, and I add 2/3 cups of oil to this. Now, most of the time what I do, sometimes I may know how to do this thing because I've been doing it for years, but you know, even I forget. And when you have a lot of things on your mind, it's easy to forget some directions. And then by the time you get finished cooking it, you say, Lord, I was making a cheesecake and forgot to put the eggs in it. So I stir it up, and then it tells me what to add in. And I put on my glasses so I can make sure. I have my carrots, I add my carrots, I stir in the carrots. Sometimes what I do, instead of making just one cake, I make 2 cakes at one time. Why do I do that? Because sometimes I may have an abundance of carrots. You know, carrots are pretty cheap compared to some other things. So or some other ingredient, I make it, and then the other things, I can always put it in the freezer and use it later. Someone might come over, I might have guests, and they'll have something to eat. Then I stir in the walnuts. Now, the walnuts is the most expensive thing to get. So what I do, usually what I do is, even though it says it's chopped, I like to chop it a little bit more. So I take the rolling pin and I just roll it. Now the thing about having your own place, you got your internet, you have your television, you have your movies on your television, so if guests come over. I don't watch too many movies. But also, I may get up on Saturday morning and do all of this. And while I'm doing it, I'm also making sure I wash clothes. So what I do is I take care of a lot of my household chores at one time. This is about what I need. So I put it in here. And I'm quite sure John is going to enjoy this. And then I whip around my raisins. Now I didn't have raisins. Somebody gave me some cranberries. Sometime here in Macon, people, there's food consortiums. And a lot of times people get food and they don't like it. A lot of people don't like cranberries. I didn't know what they're about. But then after I start using cranberries, I said, I like this. Now, when I first got out of prison and went to the reentry house, I had to decide very, very quickly how on God's green earth am I going to survive in this town. I add my pineapple. Pineapple gives it a special taste. And then I have all this together because I'm going to wash it as soon as I get finished with it. I don't like to leave anything around because you can end up with having roaches in your house. And I know people who have roaches, and I darn sure don't want no roaches. Okay, so I added all this, the vegetable oil, the eggs, the carrots, the walnuts, the cranberries, and the pineapple. Okay. Now what the recipe calls for, put this here and get on the floor with it. I don't have that much room, but I'm thankful for what I had this. 4 years ago, I was on a bunk in an open dorm at Coffee Correctional Facility. Now I'm in my own house. If I want to get up and eat, I get up and eat. Now, the difference between being in your own house and being in somebody else's house is that when you feel like eating, you get up and eat when the hell you want to eat, and not when they want you to eat. You know, if I feel like knocking on my plate like this, I can do it. Somebody else's house, you have to be careful. Now one day, I might just break down and go to Walmart and buy some mixing bowls. But for right now, that's not the most important thing in my life. The most important thing in my life is expanding my income and getting a greater disposable income. And making sure that my bills are paid as soon as they come in. Because if you don't pay your bills as soon as they come in, they're going to mount on you. The tax man come here, the first thing I do the next morning is to go down to the tax office downtown. When I first got here, I didn't have a ride, and so, and that's one of the reasons why I moved to Macon. I moved to Macon because they had a public transport system. You had the bus. I had to walk a half a mile to get to the bus, but I did it. Now, it was no big thing to me because I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. And when I went to graduate school at Boston University. That's where I got my doctorate. And all during the time I was at Boston University, I didn't have a car. So not having a car was no big deal, because I had to set priorities, and the biggest priority is your house, where you're going to live, where you're going to lodge. Soon I'm going to do a video about income disparity. That's intrigued me. People who get out of prison, the biggest problem that they have is finding work, finding a place to live, paying bills, establishing themselves at the bank, getting a debit card. Because the world has changed. People don't carry money around like they used to. All right. So I think I've done this well. I hope I have. So what I do is I have 2 cake pans. Let's see. I've used all that I had to do. And I put some in here. By the way, I've already greased it and floured it. One thing that helped me in reentry was that by the time I got out, I had already had time in my life where I had my own house and had things, had some things going for me. Or I thought. And so when a person has gone through something before, they have a little inkling on how they're going to do things, how they're going to set up their priorities. First of all, I looked for taking care of the basic things: food, clothing, and housing. And clothing also dealt with the whole idea: how am I going to keep these clothes clean? When I first got here, I had got a VA loan. I'm a veteran. Was a soldier. Got in my house. I didn't have a credit rating. Didn't have one of those credit scores. Didn't know what it was. Because the last time I brought a house, I didn't need that. But the last time I brought a house was back in 1981. But I knew that it was important to get a place to live. So you set your priorities, and my first priority was not in furniture, but my first priority after I got here was, number 1, to change the locks. Number 2, have a security system, because you don't want nobody rolling up on you unexpectedly. The next item of import was to have a place to wash your clothes. Because I darn sure couldn't see myself going all the way, walking a mile to get to a laundromat.